Hello everyone, and welcome to my General Hospital YouTube channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. At General Hospital, Robert and Anna stood in front of a memorial shrine to former doctors and nurses. Hardly seems right, does it? You know, I always thought Bobbie would outlive all of us, Robert chimed in. Anna agreed. This year, we had to say goodbye to people who were there for our daughter when we couldn't be, you know. It just doesn't seem fair, said Anna. Robert and Anna wrapped their arms around each other as they glanced at a photograph of Bobbie. Felicia and Carly waited in an Amsterdam cafe for a call from a contact who knew Bobbie from her work with a rescue organization. Felicia encouraged Carly to be patient, assuming that the contact will join them soon. Felicia whispered to Carly while two other people were close. I think we might have just found your mom's contact, she added. Carly saw a woman with curling red hair. After some hesitation, the woman revealed that she was the head of the organization where Bobbie had been helping. The lady stated that Bobbie had intended to do more to combat human trafficking after learning about a trafficking sting in the months preceding her death. She opened up to me about her own past, how it was something she was still processing. Bobbie wanted to do more to help, she told me. The lady went on to say that she was a member of a group that assisted shelter young people who had escaped human trafficking. Carly stated that a reporter who had been working with Bobbie told her that Bobbie had been assisting a young woman. The lady expressed surprise that Bobbie would have revealed that information because secrecy is key in our organization. Felicia inquired whether the lady knew anything about the young woman Bobbie had been assisting. Yes, her name was Cornelia. Bobbie got close to her. We were concerned that the people she was running from would find her in Amsterdam, stated the woman with a reddened face. The lady explained that she had arranged for Cornelia to take a ship to Canada. She assumed Bobbie had successfully secured Cornelia's entry into America. Carly mentioned that Bobbie had passed away in Amsterdam. Carly and Felicia deduced that Cornelia was still waiting for Bobbie in Canada and had never gotten notice of Bobbie's death. Felicia said that the news meant Bobbie had never legally obtained refuge for Cornelia. Felicia called Anna to see if she and Robert had any contacts at the State Department who could assist someone seeking asylum in America. Felicia told Anna and Robert about Bobbie's efforts to help Cornelia. Robert agreed to place some calls on Felicia's behalf. Felicia thanked Robert. Carly was terrified that she and Felicia might never find Cornelia. The red-headed lady stated that, for Cornelia's safety, Bobbie was the only person who knew where she was stationed. When the lady mentioned a woodland cabin in Canada, Carly had a realization and stated that she knew where Cornelia was. Later that night, in a car going across Ontario, Canada, Felicia verified that she and Carly were on their way to Luke's old cabin in the woods. As Felicia and Carly conversed, Carly pondered aloud why she and Felicia had never spent much time together, given that Felicia and Bobbie were close friends. Felicia did not respond. Carly called for Felicia to look out as the automobile swerved. Felicia and Carly exited the van as Felicia swerved to avoid hitting a moose that had wandered onto the road. Felicia noticed that Carly had a visible gash on her forehead. When Carly replied she would be okay, Felicia requested for her assistance in changing a flat tire. As they changed the tire, Felicia explained why she and Carly had never grown close. Felicia recalls being in Port Charles when Carly initially came in 1996. Felicia stated that Carly had ruined Bobbie's life at the moment. And not for nothing, but Tony was my family too. So you didn't just break up a marriage. It was two people that I considered to be my home base. When Bobbie was so distraught about the affair you had with Tony, it was my shoulder that she cried on. And it was really hard for me to watch my friend have her heart shattered, Felicia went on to say. Felicia said that she had bitterness toward Carly and that it was difficult for her to let go since she had always been protective. Felicia subsequently apologized to Carly, who admitted that she was not blameless. Carly also mentioned that she had condemned Felicia for leaving Port Charles when Maxie was little. Felicia suggested that she and Carly forgive one another, and they both began to grin. Felicia and Carly eventually arrived at the cabin in the woods. Carly requested Cornelia to open the door, and she announced that she and Felicia were friends. Cornelia, after opening the door, charged at Carly and Felicia with a shovel. Carly pleaded with Cornelia to drop the shovel. Carly attempted to reassure Cornelia that she was secure. When Cornelia noticed Bobbie's necklace on Carly, Carly revealed that Bobbie was her mother. Carly then showed Cornelia a photograph of herself and Bobbie together. Cornelia started crying and claimed she didn't understand why Bobbie hadn't met her at the cottage. Carly informed Cornelia that Bobbie had died. Cornelia eventually dropped the shovel and buried her head in Carly's arms while they cuddled. Felicia then called Anna at the hospital. "You know the favor that you and Robert called in? I think we're ready for it now," she added. At Kelly's diner, Angela joined Maxie, who joked that she had begun to believe she had dreamed up Angela. Maxie stated that many of Bobbie's friends will join Angela in the diner throughout the day to share their memories of Bobbie for Angela's piece in the Associated Press. Laura was the first to join Angela and Maxie. Angela stated that she wanted to write about all of Bobbie. Laura noted that she and Bobbie had some difficult times, particularly early on in their relationship. Angela questioned why. "Oh, it's really the oldest story in the world. We were fighting over a boy," she said. Laura recalled going to Scott's room following her conversation with Brian Phillips many years ago, only to discover Bobbie mocking Scott for turning to him for comfort. "I would invite you in, honey, but considering what Scotty and I have in mind for tonight, 3 is definitely a crowd," Bobbie said with a smirk. Laura stated that Bobbie had always spoken her mind. Laura's voice softened as she expressed her wish that there were more people like Bobbie. Laura stated that Bobbie was able to listen sympathetically while yet delivering a realistic assessment. Laura then flashed back to Bobbie, who forcefully encouraged Laura to tell Luke that she was pregnant with Nicholas years ago. "Why do you always wait until a house is burning down before calling 911? Bobbie asked in the flashback. Laura smiled as she said that Bobbie had never been hesitant to be honest with her. "I loved her for that," Laura continued. Lucas later joined Angela and Maxie. Lucas described how Bobbie ultimately warmed up to calling him Champ after hearing Tony use the nickname. Lucas mentioned that BJ had begun calling him Champ before BJ had died in 1994. "My mom was a very principled and strong-willed person. She had no problem standing up for what she believed in or for her family," said Lucas. Lucas recalled Bobbie's warning that she would bitch-slap Tracy all the way to the Canadian border many years ago. "Guess that makes my mom the champ. She was always the one you wanted fighting in your corner," Lucas went on to say. Michael and Willow followed Lucas. They claimed that Bobbie had blessed their wedding. Scott and Lucy followed, and Scott said warmly that Bobbie had never taken any guff from him. "Not her bosses, not anybody that looked down at her, and she certainly didn't take it from me," Scott went on to say. Scott recalled Bobbie confronting him about his role in the Meditech controversy at the hospital many years ago. In the flashback, Bobbie yelled at Scott not to touch her again. Bobbie, she did mellow over the years, but she ended up being the best down nurse at General Hospital. However, she could still throw words around, Scott told me. "Oh, I can attest to that," Lucy remarked. Lucy flashed back to confronting Bobbie about being acquainted with Scott again in 2014, after Noah Drake had ended their relationship. In the flashback, Lucy recalled Bobbie telling her that her marriage to Kevin had ended. "So, Lucy, this is karma," Bobbie had explained. Angela mentioned that Lucy and Bobbie appeared to be the original frenemies. Lucy agreed with Angela's judgment, and she mentioned Bobbie's daughter BJ. It had been really special to her. "You know, I've heard it said that if you want a true test of someone's character, it's not in taking stock of their friends, it's taking stock of their rivals. So if I have walked through this life with Bobbie Spencer as my worthy adversary, then I guess I am one very lucky woman," Lucy said with a grin on her face. Next, Elizabeth joined Angela to discuss her memories of Bobbie. Elizabeth mentioned that she had been assaulted on Valentine's Day, 1998. And Bobbie came to me and took care of me because that's who she was. Kind and compassionate, and always ready to offer her empathy, she said. Elizabeth stated that Cameron, Aidan, and Jake were unaware of the rape, and she begged Angela to keep the details buried. Angela agreed. When a woman has been raped, she needs very specific attention paid to her feelings because she's been traumatized, and her body because she may have been hurt. That's the most important thing. I came prepared for any eventuality because I promised my nephew that I would take good care of you, Bobbie said to Elizabeth. Elizabeth claimed that Bobbie had never made her feel humiliated. Elizabeth expressed gratitude to Bobbie for her assistance. She was the one who told me, even though I had survived something traumatic, that I was the one in charge of how I let that define me, and she offered me love and support, and it inspired me to send that love back out into the world by helping others, she added. Elizabeth continued, When I was younger, I thought I was going to be a painter because I loved to paint. I still love to paint, but my true passion became healing others, just like it was Bobbie's. I never take for granted, walking across GA's 10th floor, that I'm walking in her footsteps, she added. After Elizabeth finished, Maxie led Angela out of the diner as night fell over Port Charles. Angela stated that she'd enjoy getting to know Maxie, who expressed her wish that Angela would stay in town for a bit longer. I think we have a lot in common, Maxie stated. My bosses said I could only stay in Port Charles for so long. But I promise you, you'll be seeing me around, Angela remarked with a grin on her face. When Angela turned to leave, Maxie's phone rang. Angela came to a stop nearby and turned to face Maxie. Maxie realized the call was from Felicia and asked Angela to wait. When Maxie turned back, Angela had disappeared. Felicia and Carly eventually arrived to General Hospital. Maxie was relieved to see Felicia and put her arms around her mother. Elizabeth noticed the wound on Carly's forehead and led her to an examination room. In the medical room, Elizabeth stated that Robert and Anna had informed her of Carly and Felicia's experience. Elizabeth was pleased to learn that Carly and Felicia had assisted Cornelia, and she stated that Bobbie would be proud of them. After tending to Carly, Elizabeth announced that she was free to leave. As she prepared to depart, Carly remembered Elizabeth's offer to create a new sign to hang above Kelly's. Elizabeth said the offer was still valid. I have something else in mind, Carly remarked, clearly struck by an idea. The next morning, Felicia awakened in Maxie's residence. Maxie said that she had misplaced Angela's business card. Maxie went on to say that she wanted to contact Angela and inform her that Felicia and Carly found the woman Bobbie was aiding. Felicia advised Maxie conduct an online search for Angela. I did that already. There's no mention of her online anywhere, a perplexed Maxie remarked. Felicia promised to attempt to find Angela and stepped outdoors. Outside the house, Felicia called the Associated Press office in Amsterdam and asked if she could send a message to a reporter named Angela Brighton. Felicia was stunned to hear what came next. I'm sorry, ma'am. I've been here for years, and nobody by that name has ever worked here, a woman's voice said to Felicia. Carly stood next to Laura, Elizabeth, and Lucas at Kelly's diner, holding a newly painted green sign by Elizabeth. Laura, Carly, and Lucas all agreed that the sign was excellent. This place has always been a comfort to everyone and a safe haven for anyone who needs it. And now that Bobbie's gone, people need to know that that's still true, Carly added, her voice filled with sorrow. Lucas informed Carly that he had a flight to catch and needed to go. Carly and Lucas put their arms around one another and confessed their love. As Lucas stepped outside the diner, he saw Angela standing nearby. You know, people are looking for you. Your tip helped my sister and Felicia save the day, Lucas went on to say. I'd like to celebrate with them, but I have to go back home, Angela replied softly. Lucas praised Angela for all she had done. Anytime, champ, Angela replied when Lucas had turned away. When Lucas looked back, Angela was gone. Lucas continued to stare, looking toward the area where Angela had been standing. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, So please don't forget to subscribe my channel and don't miss any update.